All right, good morning, everyone. As always, we're going to do a little broad market outlook, over some top ideas, and some member ideas as well. So kicking it off, again, major thing from last week has been this major base in the SPY. We had a great run up the end of last week. Again, very wish-washy back and forth action. Beginning to middle of the week looked horrible. We snap back and close phenomenally end of the week, which is a good sign to see. Again, we've seen these buyers stepping up, since the lows have been put in back in October, continuous higher lows, great signs. And this is now currently the new pivot low. This 403 in the SPY. Really call it probably just 400 for now. But 400 versus 420. Again, still in this border consolidation, but you want to be thinking taking profits up here. Eventually, we'll see some type of break out of this base. But for now, the same as always is just trying to take profits when everything looks perfect, which is what a lot of these sectors are looking at lately. Some other sectors that are setting up, again, REITs continue to base down here. They've been kind of, left out of the party for most of the other sectors that have been breaking out, but still basing very nicely. So, REITs could be a spot to look for some potential, base breaks or bullfight breakouts. Same thing with the consumer discretionaries, think name like Amazon, still setting up very nicely. Again, it's in its own base, still plenty of room to run before it gets extended into its real, prior pivot highs, from the past year. And VDC, consumer staples, which is one of Shake's main ideas sector-wise last few weeks, continues to break out nicely, putting in a new, 52-week-ish high. Still has some room to go until we see that run up to the all-time high. Shake, if you want to jump in for a minute or two and go over what you want to talk about, just unmute yourself and I'll stop. Again, a lot of strong sectors here. We're seeing this across the board. There's really nothing that looks dramatically weak. We're just seeing just kind of broad breakouts or sectors kind of running into resistance or setting up within, their recent bases. So things look pretty good there. From a swing trading standpoint, I still have on this PODD, just still flagging. It seems like the entry through 325 last week, which was a bit too early. Still holding that stop versus 310, and we'll add up through 325 when we get back up there. A couple top ideas for the week ahead that I'm focusing on. This BA continues to flag. Again, the real entry is going to be through this 220. We have this 210, kind of a little sneaker feeler entry setting up. CRM continues to flag up here, but again, not looking to buy fourth day up through 200. If it can consolidate in between 190 and 200, I have no problem, getting involved, but I'm not looking to buy today if it's going to, run up through 200, fourth day up. DHI, similar to that CRM, again, nice little earnings flag, but we have to remember it does take some time to consolidate, not trying to buy, third, fourth day up into the retest. It just needs to consolidate a few more weeks for this, 110 entry. NVIDIA, a name we've been talking about for quite some time now, again, had a very strong year, up more than 100%, but it does continue to flag here nicely versus 280 to 260. And it seems that for now, it's that move back to, back to its 350, prior all-time highs. That seems to be the easier trade than trying to short, one of the strongest stocks in the market right now. And earnings aren't until end of May. So we do have some time for, a nice little bullfight breakout if it wants to go and have like a little pre-earnings run. And lastly, we have this in Yeti. Earnings aren't until about 2 weeks, but still kind of basing it through this 40. And with that, Shake, if you want to jump in, I added most of the names you put in the watch list here. I'm trying to unmute you, but if you want to,
yeah, you guys go for it. Oh.
Yeah, let me unshare so you can share your screen if you want. It'd probably be easier.
All right, cool.
All right, you should be good now.
All right. I'm just gonna go over what I shared in Alpha and talk about it real quick. Here's the trade of the week. This is OI. Really, really like this setup. This is last earnings report. Huge move, and all it's really done is base out for the last 3 months. They come through with great earnings again, raise guidance for the rest of the year. If we can get this through 2310, I think that one looks great. Semis are setting up. I love these setups. They just need a little bit of daily consolidation on the right side of this base. You see this LRCX, 2 kind of big days up going into this level, so we'll keep an eye on it. But 537 is the base break there, and then this MU seems to have a lot of people's attention. 64.50. We've been staring at this one. Wasn't the best earnings. It was, but breaking out of this, what is that? 10-month base. So that one looks really good. The problem, right now, you got to buy 64.50, give it down to 57.50. That doesn't make much sense. So if it goes this morning, goes crazy, probably just got to let it go. And just pray for some right side consolidation. Risk reward's not really on our side right now, buying here this morning. So, keep an eye on it, but not too overzealous. Costco, I think this one's going to be a grinder. We've been talking about this pattern over and over. Put in a pivot high last week. I'm watching that 513 area to trigger that pattern. This Google I'm in, I'm decently heavy in this Google, bought like 106-ish, 106.50, whatever it was, Thursday. It kind of retreated and put in a little inside day, and I think it's down a few cents this morning, but going to continue to watch that. We've seen some strength in the mega cap tech, so would love to see it come back to that Google, show some leadership. This NUE, this is more of a swing setup. I'll be smaller in this and kind of give it the room and let it play out. Not huge expectations for this one. Just a tight swing entry, 148.50 against this 144. I believe these lows. Look, take some profit in this 160 area, and if you can get some runners for a move higher, it's just a good setup there. And this FTAI, this is another one that's try to squeeze a really tight risk entry into a high momentum name. Very tight inside day Friday. After this explosion where it came back on a blow off top was Thursday's action. And if we see, names just kind of been on a tear all year. Anytime it makes one of these flags, boom, it explodes through it. So I'm looking for a quick momentum move higher through this 28.80, kick some, 30-31 area. And that's really it. There's a few more names on here, but that's where the focus is at today. So big week ahead. We got a ton of action. We got FOMC, we got 1,200 earnings. We got all these earnings names from last week, the 1,000 that reported last week, all moving like crazy. So good week to be typing up names. A lot of opportunity out there, but I got a few alerts to set. So without further ado, folks, that's all I got for you. Yeah. See you out there.
See you in the group. All right. All right, so we're up with a couple member ideas. Give me a second. So we got, again, like Sheik mentioned, looking at this Google. I haven't always mentioned this AMD setting up for this move back to this 100 area. Definitely looks good. MU, again, Sheik mentioned before, again, very extended in the short term, but again, looks great through this base. We could just get a little bit more of a tighter consolidation. J had some wonky names. I'm not going to know about this HBIO. Be a hard pass for me. This DOC, again, talking about the REIT space, but, this is not really the pattern you want to be looking at unless this is a short down through 14 or down through this 13 area. So you got to find the REITs that are basing and not Hing over this. You can see a much broader H forming here. I'll try to draw it out like very crudely. And then you have much more shorter term H's forming within those. So this is just, this just screams, shorting through lows here. So you can see, much broader H, much smaller H. So this is probably not the REIT you'd want to be looking at. You want to be looking at REITs that are, kind of trending higher or basing, not, having much broader or smaller H patterns that are forming. This HEHAEHR. Again, this kind of looks like a pass. I don't really see what the setup is here unless you're trying to buy back off support through 25 versus 23, but seems a pass. Again, this QS, all these cheap names. It's hard pass, bottom right, not worth. Actually, this was actually a short idea through these lows. But again, when you're shorting these cheaper names, your best case, you're 1-to-1 risk reward. You're shorting 7 versus 8. If you get this thing moved to 5 or 4, best case you're 1-to-1, 2-to-1. So these cheaper ones, these are just passes. Again, same thing here. I know Jay was looking at this like 550 area versus 10% risk and a dead bottom right name. Just hard pass. He also was looking at his DKNG, which setting up a little bit better. Definitely can see the base that's been forming down here. Buying 22 versus 20, same thing. You're still risking kind of 10%. So you got to wait till after earnings or just a much more defined setup. And lastly is HOV, probably the best one amongst the names mentioned. Setting up through this 75, which does look pretty good. Earnings aren't until June, so you definitely have quite a bit of time. But this is technically the retest of this current flag. So maybe just give it a little bit of time to consolidate some more versus 67. Again, it's still very wide, not looking to really chase this third day up. So I think the overall consensus with a lot of the names, given the close from Friday, is we really have to be a little bit more patient and not trying to chase when the sun is shining. So just be patient this Monday, focus on your top ideas. And Abby, Blake, or Heaven, if there's any other names that I missed you guys want to go over, if we go over those now.
What's up, Ben? I'm keeping an eye on Tesla as well. I don't think it's quite ready yet, but the weekly chart just, it kind of looks like that sneaky buyback type of potential there. Yeah, it looks like you've got it kind of marked out. So not sure it's ready today. 2 strong days up, probably needs a little consolidation, but I'm watching that area for a move back towards that 200, 220.
Yeah. I think it's just, after those earnings, didn't really get as smoked as I thought it would have gotten.
Right.
It finally did shake out this, this was kind of like the shakeout area, which it did. It hasn't really, I guess, filled the gap entirely, but still one of those things I think people are kind of forgetting about in the short term, that move back to 200, 220 seems like a very realistic move on somewhat tighter risk in this name that tends to be a little more crazy. So
definitely. Yeah. Another one I'm looking at is Home Depot. Again, still needs a little time, but big move off of support these last 2 days. I thought it was ready to die after that sell-off Tuesday, Wednesday, but it held up, and weekly charts looking pretty good. Yeah, just keep an eye on this one.
Yeah, I looked at when I bought this through 300 last week. I lucked out with a break-even stop down to 300 and lost nothing as it got killed. But yeah, still looks great. Very nice base over here.
Yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. You already got Google and AMD, so.
All right, guys. So that kind of wraps it up, and we'll see you in the chat.
Cool. See you.
See ya.